Welcome back to the Hall of Shores. The story I'm about to tell you spans over 4 years, and in the story you will find numerous creatures of legend, nightmarish horrors, and uncountable enemies. The Hall of Shores remains standing thanks to a few brave dwarven heroes. Though many kinsmen are buried beneath the fort, they were not lost in vain. I ask that you join me as we overlook the last few years here at the Hall of Shores Fortress. The year 106 started with a beast that I had never seen before, a dragon, Osnoth Angot. Magical and fire-breathing, she descended upon our fort with haste. Closing the gates, this huge reptilian creature descended upon our fort. Though this dragon was sickly with low stamina, she had over 90 total kills over her lifespan. She dashed into our trap hallway, which was the only entrance into the fort still. Gathering the corpse, we brought it up to the Hall of Heroes, where it will lay for the rest of time. And while trading with the elves soon after the dragon's death, we were notified that there was a were-giraffe coming into our fortress. Again, pulling the lever to try to keep it out, we found out that it was already within the trap hallway, and it was too late to gather some dwarves back to the fortress. A couple of our dwarves fought tooth and nail with the beast in the trap hallway. The military was sent after it, yet the traps themselves within the hallway are what cut the animal down. With one of our mechanics, Asmil, getting absolutely obliterated by this beast. His face, neck, back, and chest mangled beyond all recognition. Quickly we carried him over to the hospital, where he was going to rest up. Mid-spring, the Hall of Shores became the capital of our civilization, with our king, Cadil Odamshodok, arriving with his entourage. Quickly we built him a large bedroom, office, dining hall, and throne room, with all the furniture fit for a king. Ashmil, the mechanic that fought with the were-giraffe, actually turned into one himself. Somehow our doctors missed a bite mark, apparently. Ashmil, the were-giraffe, got in a fight with 5 of our dwarves before the military could arrive, but our 5 dwarves put him out of his misery. And again, our doctors failed us, missing a bite mark on one of the other victims, and there was another were-giraffe transformation within the fort. The humans soon arrived with 7 full wagons of trading. Along with them, they brought another stray black bear, which we traded for and added to our growing army of these animals. From below our fortress, the forgotten beast Togabe Leto Atok climbed the stairway up, torturing and killing our miners as it went. This enormous feathered toad with fire breath snuck into the fortress from an entrance unknown to us. With so much fire, smoke, and death and vile being thrown about, this fight took over an hour to finish up. The military was sent after the forgotten beast, but had killed so many miners down below. Over 40 of our fellow dwarves were slaughtered by this forgotten beast alone. It roamed every hallway, breathing fire down every corridor, stomping out any dwarf that came within reach of it. In its craze, it was burning its own flesh, melting the fat along its body. That's when a swords dwarf named Thicket added the beast to the history books. Another win for the Hall of Shores dwarves. With over 40 dead, we needed to go ahead and start burying them. Thicket, the swords dwarf, earned himself the title Sword of the Beast after killing the forgotten beast in the caverns. The corpse of Leto Atik, the forgotten beast, was placed within the Hall of Heroes, right next to the dragon corpse from earlier this year. Thicket earned himself a tomb amongst our greatest of royalty. A vile force arrived in the next season. There wasn't many, but it was enough to warrant a response. With lots of dwarves that they had kidnapped from other regions, they charged into our trap hallway, which again was the only entrance into the fort with the gate closed. The traps did their job, the serrated blades cutting the enemies down, separating limb from body, the stonefall traps knocking them unconscious or breaking bones underneath them. The Axe-Lord dwarf, hearing the calls to come back to the fortress, attempted to come through the trap hallway, where he was then caught and cut down by the enemies. Hearing this, our military was sent out after them, and the military cut them down swiftly in retaliation to the death of one of their own. The elves arrived. To them we traded our cut gems, and they brought along with them a giant fox, which we figured would be a great addition to our buffer room just after the trap hallway, giving us another warrior to help fight. From our depths crawled another enemy, a forgotten beast, Azok, an enormous one-eyed tick with a trunk and bloated body. It snuck up again from an entrance unknown to us. This creature also breathed fire like the last. Again, it climbed up our staircases, killing every miner and passerby that was traveling in and out of the caverns. Yet the beast was cut down by a spear dwarf named Zuton. This spear dwarf earned himself the title Blood Gorger's Bane after killing the forgotten beast in the shape of a tick. The corpse of the beast was carried up into the Hall of Heroes also. Needing a fresh water source that was safe after finding an entrance that the forgotten beast was using to get into our fortress, we ended up creating a new water source. A pool that could be locked off to keep them from climbing into our fort. After trading for another grizzly bear, the bear pits were created a couple levels below ground, where we will now breed grizzly bears to use in battle against all of our enemies. These bears will hopefully fight side by side just as ferociously as the dwarves that are with them. While building in the caverns and trying to set up a base of operations down there, a forgotten beast snuck up upon us. As it rushed in, smelling new prey in the caverns, our military dwarves stood at the ready. An entire squad then charged the beast, where we discovered that dwarven steel reigns superior regardless. With a dwarf Ficked ended up slaying the beast, earning her the title the Slayer of Damu, which all dwarves will now know her by. And after slaying the beast, she renamed her sword a title that was most deserving. Then the corpse was placed in the Hall of Heroes along with all of the others, and a statue made in resemblance of the beast. The elves came back. Once again we traded cut precious gems to them, and once again they brought us some giant animals to put in our buffer zone. This time a giant dingo and a giant raccoon will join our ranks. We also had the birthing of our first grizzly cubs, a set of twins, male and female. These will be trained into war grizzlies here very soon when they mature. With the growing population, we needed to expand the bedroom hallways. 30 new bedrooms were created for our mini dwarves that had been moving in the last few seasons. The military was set out on a new mission. We needed to expand our population into other regions, other fortresses, to leave us a small buffer between us and the goblins. So the military was sent out to raid the nearby settlement Roof Rims. And soon after, once we raided it, the settler squad was sent out to go ahead and colonize the land of Roof Rims. They created a local government there called the Axe of Crewing. Zos, our admin, became the administrator over there also, leading the dwarves. After their loss at Roof Rims, the goblins sent out a counterattack. They marched upon our fort once again with many kidnapped dwarves amongst the ranks. With the drawbridge up, they descended into our trap hallway. The mix of human, dwarves, and goblin scum marched through our trap hallway, getting cut down once again by our well-crafted traps. The stones dropping upon their heads, the serrated blades from underneath them dismembering them and letting them bleed out into our hallway. A woodcutter named Adil got stuck on the way back in, and our military, hearing that, charged into the hallway to claim vengeance. Quickly, their master-crafted shields, swords, spears, and maces went to work in the hallway, cutting down our foe one by one. Most of the dwarves going into a blood craze after seeing a fellow dwarf cut down. When the elves returned soon after in the spring, they brought with them another giant black bear, which we traded for, now creating what will be known as the giant bear pits. next to the bear pits that have already been created for the grizzly bears. This is where we will breed our giant black bears, including Grimfang, an already legendary bear that we have had guarding our fortress for several years now. Knowing that our fort has been conquering enemies left and right, we needed to expand the Heroes' Hall, because these pedestals will soon be filled with the corpses of our enemies and the statues of tales long gone. Now, while we were working on the Heroes' Hall, we sent out another raiding party to the Tower of Glazed Chestnut, where we had killed a necromancer just a couple years ago. We also sent out a settling party soon after. The settling party made it and went ahead and started building a fort. So the Tower of Glazed Chestnut was no longer held by the enemy, but held by fellow allied dwarves. This gave us 2 lands nearby that would start to build up as the years progressed. For the last couple years, 7 wagons from the humans and their traders have been sitting in our entrance to the fort. Building a bridge, we decided we were going to smash them as soon as possible to get them out of the way because they had blocked a dwarven caravan. They had been told to leave but yet chose not to, so we would retaliate. We called the dwarves back into the fortress, that way we knew everybody was safe, and we went ahead and pulled the lever, smashing all of the traitors, and quickly, the ones that did survive spread out, attacking every dwarf within range. Our military was sent up after them to clean up what was left over. We cut down the humans and their beasts alike, with no remorse. All of their trade goods that they had brought with them was now claimed for the Hall of Shores dwarves. While doing the cleanup, a weremole child marched upon our fortress. After calling everybody in, the weremole child chased one of our people into the fort. Following closely behind, he actually managed to dodge one of our traps. The weremole child was stomped out quickly, but he did bite the miner, so he did have to get expelled from the fort. A new tavern was built on the first floor for everybody to enjoy. This tavern was an upgrade from the one a few floors below, which will now just be for our dwarves and long-term citizens. The Hall of Shores really appreciates you coming to watch the last few years of our progress. If you did enjoy this video, please leave a like, subscribe, or comment something you would like to see in the future. It helps me out a bunch. I'm a smaller YouTuber, so anything really does help. I really do appreciate you checking out this video. If you made it this far, thank you very much. The 10-year episode will be coming out very soon. As you can see, we are in year 110, which means we've spent 10 years playing this fortress in particular. So I will be doing a larger cut of all of the videos and putting them together and uploading that. So if you want to check that out, it should be right here on the screen, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.